Yo, all right, update time. First, I'm excited to say that it's been a long process, but we're here. Um, my 2002 Nissan Spec V transmission has finally arrived due to Mother Nature and random other things preventing me from getting it. But yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks, but it's finally arrived from Mississippi. Uh, Excited to say, came here with minor damage as expected, and to somebody who doesn't do this all the time, this would probably be like something upsetting. But I have been in the parts game for 7 years prior to moving to the other side of the industry and being in the shop side. But getting parts from climates that encounter ice and stuff like that, always going to expect things to happen to your parts. Just flat out, bottom line. Especially when they told me how are they going to ship it. Cheap transmission, did shipping as cheap as possible. I'm not sure if Greyhound's still an option. It's been about 4 or 5 years since I sold parts and shipped them. But yeah, a guy said he was going to do UPS ground. UPS ground during December. I already had some red flags, but I know insurance covers it. But I was really more concerned about actually getting this transmission than losing my money. You know, my time was really just more important than the pennies that I spent for this transmission. But yeah, transmission arrived, had some physical damage on it. I do my first checks when I run through the gears. It was moving like this, no clicking, no nothing. First sign here is you can kind of see that it's already been damaged. Um, what's even funnier is the yard actually left specific instructions for their shipping department guy or wherever on how exactly to pack it. And that's not how I received it at all. I received it pretty much as a plastic wrap bagged. And so what I'm assuming what happened is the box and pallet they put it on got damaged during transit. I had made some calls. I've reached out to some people and learned that there was some ice in Mississippi. And even though the UPS truck probably didn't get into an accident, there's probably people out there on the road that don't drive that bright. And let's just say that he avoided an accident. Well, that kind of swerving or slamming on your brakes could damage your package. And that's probably what happened in this case. And probably why the box didn't arrive, and probably why I didn't get tracking updates for 7 days, which was making me bite my nails the whole time because, again, I didn't really care about the money. It was just like I really needed this ultra specific transmission. But anyways, glad it came. Glad it's here with minor damage. So as you can probably assume, whatever force it took to do this, sheared that piece clean off. That is the piece that actually selects the gears. Don't care. Have a ton of them. Awesome. I'm happy. I'm stoked. What I'm going to do next here is I'm going to tear out that transmission, shove it in that one right there. That's a V6 bell housing. This is a 4-cylinder bell housing. So why am I so excited, I guess? I don't think I made it clear in the other video, but the 2002 Nissan Spec V has a very has a very specific gear set. The '02 spec has a shorter final drive, which is a 4.4 versus the rest of the other 5 years of the B15 '02 to '06 Nissan Sentra Spec V. So the 2002 has the shortest final drive. It has a short first gear, which is a weird combination. Usually when you would put a shorter final drive in the car, you'd put a longer first gear, but for some odd reason, they put a shorter first gear and a shorter final drive. So first gear just rips, which on any other car I'm building, not something I would want, but since this will be the heaviest car that I own, my 2008 Maxima, I'm thinking it'll be a great combo. First gear is shorter than every other 6-speed. Second gear is the same on every single front-wheel drive Nissan 6-speed, like 1.925 or something like that. Do not quote me, but all second gears are exactly the same. So if you find a second gear ratio for any 6-speed, that's what it is. Juke, Sentra, Altima, Maxima, whatever. That second gear is the same. It's part of the shaft. It's not going to change. Third gear in that '02 Spec V is longer. It's so long that it will equate being longer than the rest of the Spec Vs. Why do I want a long gear? Well, keep in mind, this is going on a 2008 Nissan Maxima. The tire diameter is the larger tire diameter for Nissan, same as G's and Z's, 26.5 inches. It's really 26.7, but we're just going to say 26.5. The Nissan Sentra has a 24.5 tire diameter, so the gears are stupid short in the Sentra. But the older Maximas carry a 25.5 inch tire diameter. What does that mean? That's really, really, really your final drive. The last thing to hit the road, the last rotational object is your tire. So if you have a smaller tire, you essentially are putting a shorter final drive in your car. Since this car has one of the largest tire diameters, a 26.5, versus the 24.5 that transmission came out of, the gears are actually quite long versus what they would be in a Sentra anyways. Long story short, calculations come out to about this. With the new red line, with the bigger tires, I'm looking at first gear topping out around 38 miles an hour, second gear topping out right around 70, and third gear topping out around 108. Why is that important? Because I do not think this car will be trapping higher than 108. If it does, awesome. But I firmly believe this car is going to be trapping around 105, which on pretty much all my other 6-speeds is my shift point. I think it's actually lower, like 102, 103. So every other 6-speed that I own, I will have to shift right before I cross the quarter mile. Is this a quarter mile build? No, but I like to use the quarter mile to judge a lot of cars that I build and work with. So it's very important to me that I build a car that can perform well in the quarter mile. And this 02 Spec V transmission in a 2004 and 2004 and newer pretty much Maxima. 02 Spec V on a 2004 and newer Maxima with its bigger tire and the Spec V's final drive and the Spec V's longer third gear ends up to a pretty sweet quarter mile combination. So yeah, that's why I'm super excited. I'm super excited to get this car to the track. I'm super excited to make one less shift and to have that super short first and second just to get that mass moving as fast as possible. So I'm really excited to get this car on the ground now. Yeah, I'm just so excited that unfortunately I will not be using this transmission as my how-to video. I'm just going to be like in here jamming music, rocking out, not really focused on slowing down and showing the steps needed to, I guess, build this transmission back up. I have already recorded. I am still in the process of editing a how-to on the teardown. But I need to do I still have about 2 more transmissions to do, so I will be doing a how-to for sure on how to build one up, just not this one. This one I'm just super excited. I want to run through it. I'm just super stoked, man, because like I had some highs and lows just trying to find this thing. Getting it here, I had highs and lows just because it arrived in a ripped bag and there was damage on the outside, and you know, it was a lot of roller coaster emotions. But yeah, I will not be using this transmission as the how-to on to reassemble, and I do promise I'll get it done. I have more transmissions to do. This is just not it, and that's just pretty much the update on my 08. After I get this transmission assembled, I am waiting on some parts from Fidanza. I decided to go ahead and order a new trigger ring for my flywheel. I noticed there's a small dent on it. Not worth to risk it, especially since the trigger ring's like 75 bucks. Ordered a new trigger ring, waiting on that to come in. Then the whole powertrain is done. It's assembled. And after the powertrain is done, really the car just needs to come in here, just get swapped. Simple, pull everything out, put everything back in. I'm actually in the process of getting the accessories rebuilt just because they're dirt cheap to get rebuilt, and this is actually not going to be my car, so I don't want anything to go wrong with it. An alternator, compressor going out, it's not that big of a deal for my personal car because that's like, what, 2 hours out of my life. But since this car is going to be driven by somebody else, I don't want absolutely anything to happen with this car. That's why I'm going through every single gasket, even the gaskets that I don't care about, that I don't usually replace just because it's super easy to replace when it's in the car, those are getting replaced. Stuff like that. So really, yeah, the 08 is coming together, man. This is going to be a fun little car. It's been about 2+ years to get this thing actually to the point to where it is, to where it's about to have a reliable motor in it. But man, it's been super exciting, and super glad I got this transmission here. And yeah, I'm just going to tear this thing out, drop it in the V6 transmission over there, RTV it, and just waiting on some small parts. I'll have the whole powertrain assembled later this week, I hope. And the next video I'll probably be making is a little time lapse of me pulling that motor out. And I'll probably even continue, like do like a part 2 time lapse. Ooh, cannot talk tonight. Super excited though. I'll do like a part 2 time lapse on dropping it back in. That will probably get done because that's super easy. I could just speed up the video and just get some more background music. That's easy for me to edit. However, how-tos with slides and cuts and chapters and stuff like that, that's what's killing me right now. Not great at it. Plus the hours that I'm keeping, 20-hour days, they're awesome. So don't leave me much time with editing. So please be patient. I am making that how-to for you guys. And yeah, man, honestly, super excited to get this 08 done. This is like the reincarnation of everything what I do, man. This is like going to be like the ultimate sleeper. It's going to be quiet. It's going to look stock. It's going to drive stock, but not be stock at all. So yeah, stay tuned, man.